As I was getting ready to make this video, I dropped one of my contact lenses on the floor and then I just had to put it back in. So if my eye starts to go septic at any point in this video, I want you to give this video a thumbs up, you know, for gnarly eye content. Hey demons, it's me, not Tim Burton, before anyone makes that joke. Today I'm bringing you a review of a trilogy which actually is not the sort of thing I would normally read, and that is a trilogy which I think everyone on here has probably already read, which is the Leviathan Trilogy by Scott Westerfeld, which is a young adult science fiction, alternate history, steampunk kind of thing. Yeah, it's basically right up my alley, which is funny because it's not the sort of thing I would normally read. Contradictions! Anyway, so this, I'm not gonna bother not bothering with spoilers because I think everyone's already read it by this point, so why should I bother? So there's 3 books in the series, that is Leviathan, Behemoth and Goliath, and they centre around, it basically is set during World War I, and you've got the flankers and the Darwinists. The Darwinists are like Britain, those sorts of countries, and then the flankers are like Germany and all of those countries basically. That's as best as I can describe it. Go online to search for the plot. I'm really not going to go into much detail with that. I more want to talk about what I liked and what I disliked. So it centres around 2 characters. That's Alec, who is you know, Franz Ferdinand? Not the band. No, the Archduke. Yeah, him. That guy who got shot in the head. Yeah, him. It's his son, Prince Alec, and of course this character is completely fictional, but yeah, and then there's Darren Sharp, who is a Scottish lass. No, that was probably offensive, I'm sorry. Who is disguising herself as a boy in order to serve in the Air Force. So yeah, that's essentially the plot, and you can look it up on the internet and it'll probably be described way better than me. Anyway, I have a lot of points here about what I liked and what I disliked, and I'm going to read off my phone because I am scatterbrained as fucked. Right, okay, what I liked. I like the talking animals. There's the loris, which is like an animal which speaks, and there's the messenger lizards as well. I love just the imagery of talking animals. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. But I didn't like, I've noticed a lot of people on here said that it's fast paced. I didn't find it that fast paced at all. No. I felt like it went too quick in some places and it went too slow in others, to be honest. However, I will contradict that and say it is a quick, easy read because they look like, you know, these look like mountains of books, you know, they look quite sort of thick. They're not actually that thick, well, not actually that long, they're quite quick, easy reads, so they're good to get you sort of out of a reading slump. I liked the illustrations. The illustrations were absolutely beautiful. I think it was illustrated by Keith Thompson. I'll just show you some of the illustrations here. Yeah, I feel like there was way too much exposition in the story though. The first book, actually, I didn't care for the first book particularly. I felt like it could have started around chapter 4 or chapter 5. I feel like there was way too much exposition, but that's just me. I liked how the romance wasn't an integral part of the plot. There is some romance in this, but it's not integral to the plot, which is great because romance where it's the central part of the plot just really bores me. And I liked that. I did like, it's told in 3rd person and it flips between 2 perspectives, the perspective of Alec and Darren, but I didn't like how predictable it was because you had 2 chapters with Alec and then 2 chapters with Darren, and it was just so predictable. And oh my god, it got really monotonous after a while and you were just like, just change it up a bit, oh my god. I didn't like how short the chapters were. I feel like the chapters could have been maybe double the length and then you would have had half the chapters and I would have preferred that. The character development all the way through, especially Alec's character. You can see him go from this horrible, bratty, spoiled prince type into actually being something resembling a nice human being, which is like amazing. I liked the construction of the history of the Darwinists. However, I would have liked if the history of the Clankers would have, like, there would have been more detail on that. I know most of the book they spend time on Clanker territory, but there was nothing about like who were like the first people to like start it or anything. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention for those bits, because I did find my attention drifting at certain points. Like in like the third book where they go to Japan, like my attention, like I was not paying attention. I mean, they're in Japan for 2 minutes. My attention was just like, I did like that. I found it got really good towards the end though when they were in New York. That bit was probably the most exciting, like the end of the third book. That was like so exciting. I love Darren's character. She's so snarky. I love her. And it annoys me because she's a cis girl and she passes better as a guy than me, a trans guy, and I'm like, I don't know what that noise was. That was weird. I feel like there's a lot of action scenes, particularly in the first book. There's a lot of action sequences and there wasn't much break between them, and it was quite exhausting to read because you'd get, you know, there'd be one action sequence and you'd be absolutely like from that, and then there'd be another action sequence and you were like, I also really connected to the motif of disguising oneself, because obviously Alec is disguising himself as a commoner and Darren is just disguising herself as a boy. That really connects to like my life, but I'm not going to go into detail about my life, but that just really like... The aesthetics are very Terry Gilliam-esque, if you know what I mean by that. If there was like a film version of this, I would really want Terry Gilliam to direct it. Like the Clankers sort of stuff, especially in Istanbul and in Austria as well. It really reminded me of Brazil. It just completely made me think of that. Yeah, if there was a film, I want Terry Gilliam to direct it, or I want to direct it. Like, this would make such a good film, I think, this series. Not like 3 films, I'd try and condense it all down into one. I don't like movie trilogies, they're gimmicky. You know they would split the last one into 4, don't you? And that's what... And finally, I really loved the ending, and it was a really satisfying ending. And oh, I closed the book with a smile on my face, and I don't usually read stuff with satisfying endings, so that was like a bit of a shock for me. Overall actually this trilogy actually really surprised me, because I wasn't expecting to enjoy it. I went in it expecting to hate it, and I really liked it. One thing I do despise though is this cover art. Like, no offense to whoever like did the cover art, like the cover illustrations were by Keith Thompson as well, but they're nowhere near as good as the illustrations actually in the book. Like, I don't know, yeah, I don't like covers with faces on, but that's just a shallow thing. I don't really care about covers that much. It was just an extra kind of nitpick. So I hope that was actually alright. I've never done a review before. So yeah, I have no idea how to close this video, so I'm just going to